Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
All right. Now I see me. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hello, everybody. I am so excited finally to be back in our New York City studio. I've gotten so used to DC and Baltimore and Virginia and all these other places aside from where I started, which is New York City. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Shirley Ann Phillips III, and this is the comment section still. It's the comment section. And we were having a comment session a little while ago about some things that are near and dear to my heart, as well as I'm sure to the heart of our guest that we have today, which I'm really excited about, or who I'm really excited about. It's Women's History. It's Women's History Month. Still, it's March. March is still here. But we were talking about just some of the things that, not only as women of color, I'm trying to watch my mouth. They told me I'm blunt, a little more blunt than they like sometimes. That's the Pisces in me. Kaylin will know because she's a Pisces also. But as women in general, everyone, we go through a lot. And it's not just once a month. It's not just once a year. It's every day, all day. Women are fighting battles that people have no idea what we go through. Just sometimes just getting up in the morning, the things that we have to deal with, the myriad of things that we have to deal with sometimes as women, just to get out of bed and come to work, take care of kids, run a household, or not. If you don't have children, you don't have a husband. There's so much that we have to deal with. And I just want men around the world, this show is broadcast around the world. I want you, at some point before this month of March is out, I want you to take the time, find a woman. It could be a sister, a auntie, cousin, mother, grandmother. Find a woman and just tell her thank you. Thank you for everything that you go through. Thank you for everything that you do to just exist here on this planet that we call Earth, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And we're not going to get too much into the business that's happening in New York City. But I did want to, first of all, happy birthday to me. Hello. My birthday was March the 5th. Excuse me. She is 49. She being me. That's me. I'm 49 now. So I feel every one of my 49 years. I don't have shoes on under here right now. My feet hurt. That's 49. Okay. I have like stockings on because I'm not allowed in the studio without shoes. But it's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm thankful to be here for our young ladies, our young women who are not quite yet in their 40s or not middle-aged. It does get better. It does get better. And I will say that every year that I go up, I feel, of course, more knowledgeable and more wise, but I also feel less stress. I feel that as you get older, you kind of know what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept, who you want in your life, who you don't want in your life. And for those of us who still have rose-colored glasses on, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, him or her, it will decide for you what you don't need or who you don't need in your life. And it will go about removing and pruning. And you just have to just listen and let God, let the universe, or if you don't do it yourself, just let that happen. And you will see that it does get easier. It does get easier. So looking forward to being 62 and I can just sit and gossip about people with my tea and stuff, with my old girlfriends. But anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited for, like I said, a lot of reasons about our guest today. She is someone who I feel I have watched over the years go from just good to great. Good, great, phenomenal. And she is living proof that it doesn't matter where you come from, what you've been through. It's not an excuse to not be great. And I don't want to say too much. I want her to speak for herself because, like I said, she is a Pisces just like me. So she is more than capable of telling you. She's laughing. She's more than capable of telling you how awesome she is. But our guest today is Miss Kaylin Fahy. I know her as Kaylin Risker, but she done got married on me. Okay. So she is Kaylin Fahy now. And I have to remember to not call her Kaylin Risker. But Ms. Kaylin Fahy is a philanthropist. She is an entrepreneur. She is an amazing advocate for women's rights, people, just human beings in general. And it looks like from this new book that she's going to be talking to us about today that she's trying to get everybody to get on task. We need everybody to not only dream things, but get busy and get proactive about these dreams that you have. So I'm going to let her talk to us a little bit more. Kaylin, I hope you can hear me. Can you hear us and see us where you are?
I hear you just fine.
You hear me just fine. Okay. How are you on this lovely Sunday?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy life. And I would like to say that you look the same. Black does not crack at all. I just want to say.
I appreciate it because, my birthday just passed. I turned 53.
Where is she 53? Hello.
62. I'm like, that's around the corner. I'm not gonna be sitting around drinking no tea on the porch at 62.
It's not the 62 of old. Okay. It's not the 53 of old. I feel like 53 is like the new 33.
Yes.
So we knocked 20 years off. Okay. Maybe it was all that hose water that we drank when we was outside playing.
That's right.
But talk to us. First of all, like I always like to start the show. Tell us who you are. Who is Kaylin Fahy? Who is she? What do we need to know about Kaylin Fahy?
Well, first is Foy, which a lot of people, if you look at the spelling, of course.
Foy.
Of course.
I'm so sorry. It's Foy.
It's a name that's native to the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands. So outside of that, you wouldn't have heard it. But about me. So I am a survivor of domestic violence. I am also a recent survivor of breast cancer stage 2. Went through all the treatments and all the things. I'm a single mom of 2 girls. I went back to school as an adult. I went back to college and finished and worked my way up despite hardships, despite challenges. And in the domestic violence incident was 1998. And with that particular incident or assault, my left eye socket was shattered. And it was really hard for me to recover from that mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, economically, like all the ways. And so it was really, really hard for me to do that. But I had to really dig into my own personal goals. And I had 1 daughter. Like, what I'm doing this, I got to take care of her. We always have our guiding star of what we're trying to do and where we're trying to accomplish. And so when I got the opportunity, when God directly told me to start a nonprofit organization in Detroit called Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment, or SAFE, that was in 2006, it was really to address the things that weren't there to support me when I went through my abuse. So we really focused on economic abuse and helping survivors. Like, how do you get a job if you are being stalked? Like, how do you interview? If you've had multiple jobs because of the abuse, if you have housing instability, you're in a shelter, how do you move forward? So those were the direct things that we dealt with. And so one of the things that
only, or was it nationwide? Was it only in Detroit, Michigan, or was it nationwide?
It was just in Detroit. So what happened was we were doing this work. I started in 2006. By 2009 was when the whole economic crisis happened.
Yeah.
At that time, then different programs nationally started to call me. Like, okay, if you're helping survivors in domestic violence get jobs, get houses, get cars, go back to school, this is what now the survivors are coming. Everybody's coming with economic issues because the country is suffering.
Yeah.
If you're able to help Black women in Detroit, then you could come to Texas, you could come to Florida and help us. And that's how I started to be known nationally for the work. So I started to do training, help people develop toolkits, resources, and and the work that I was doing even made it to the White House where I was acknowledged. So
acknowledged.
Yes. I mean, it was really fantastic. We did these humongous events. Really, we would have 1,000 people come out to a domestic violence event. That's unheard of. Really talking about domestic violence and people's health and their finances and the intersection of all three. And it was a phenomenal event. We had a lot of support. We give 1,000 bags of groceries, 1,000 lunches. Whole Foods even Sam's Club, like all of our sponsors would like show up, show out. And it was just, we had workshops really to help community with tangible solutions. That's all that's what I focus on. You know, there's a lot of fluff and inspiration, but I like
doing the work.
When you leave here, what can you do today? What can you apply tomorrow?
I love that. And for everything that you just said, what I got from that was I took something that could have been originally deemed as a tragedy and turned it into a triumph, not only for you, but for people that probably wouldn't have had a voice otherwise. And I love that you put a new face to what a lot of people were associating with DV or domestic violence. They assume it's only a certain type of woman or only a certain type of demographic or socioeconomic. That is not true. You have billionaires, men and women, who are being abused. LGBTQ, it doesn't matter. And I love that. And I will always remember, we haven't seen each other in person for a while. But I love how everybody had, if it wasn't their story, they had someone that had a story that could resonate with what you were saying and that would bring people out. So thank you for that. You're going to be my woman for the month of March. Thank you for everything that you have done and are still doing. And thank you for not using what happened to you as an excuse. You used it as a stepping stone. Your whole ma'am, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You should be thanking yourself every morning. But let's get into this book. I'm super duper excited about it. I just saw, and I did just a cursory read of the back. And the cover is amazing. And I'm excited. I already want to get a set for the girls that I work with. So tell us what the title is and what did you mean to accomplish with this book? What was your goal when you come up with this book?
Okay, so with the nonprofit organization, the title is Dreams and Visions, Plan, Reflect, Take Action with Faith and Purpose. Faith and Purpose. Title of this book. And so it comes from the work that I started in 2006 with survivors of domestic violence, because that would be the first thing that we would work on when they would come to me. What are your goals? What is the vision for your life? We would have vision board parties. We would write it down. And it would really be in tangible steps. Like, what do you see for your life? And that would often cause tears, because this would be the first time that somebody ever cared about what they wanted for their life versus trying to tell them what they needed to do. I mean, that even comes from their family. And so the first time I ever dreamed, think, or even process, what do I want for my life? And so from that, advocates, other domestic violence leaders would like, oh, hey, I want to come in on this too. I want to join your workshop and be a part of that. And so different advocates started to be a part. Then they wanted me to do it for their groups. And so when I moved, which is a whole nother story, we don't have time for this, but
that's another show for another day.
When I transitioned from Detroit and moved to St. Thomas in 2016, I really wanted to find community, because I had, amazing community in Detroit. And I said, you know what, you have to show yourself friendly to have friends. So I started inviting women to my house once a month for a brunch. And I would have different themes. So the first one was a vision board party. So I continued to do that every year. And people would look forward to it. They would talk about it, how it helped them. Because my vision boards aren't just cut and paste arts and craft activity. It's tied your goals and actionable steps. And so then during quarantine, everybody was like, we want to do it virtually. So then it opened up to my friends here, far, everywhere.
Yeah.
And so just this past November, this past year, my friends were like, we really want to really get into our goals in a real business specific structured way. And I was like, no problem. I started pulling up information, content that I had created, PowerPoints, forms, templates. And God said, that's your first book. I said, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah, all the research, all the work was already done. It was just putting it into one consolidated place where people can access it, because we know everybody does not have the attention span to even sit and go to a library or Google. So you did all that work for those people to come and say, okay, now I can work on an actionable plan now that I have all these steps. So what's been, I guess, the most difficult part of this? We know that the tangible work was done.
Yeah.
What's been the most difficult part of this? Because a lot of people have this as a goal or a dream, but they never get the book never comes. It's like She by Sheree, no shade. She by Sheree never comes.
Joggers.
I'm waiting for them. I'll be the first one to buy She by Sheree, but it never comes into fruition. So tell us, what has been the hardest part about getting this book to be?
So getting it to print. I mean, I put in hours, I put in work, I put in love. I was transparent. It's some personal stories in there. So it's more than just an activity book. It's inspiration. And it was really a big step for me to put the faith part in there and have Bible verses and really talk about my faith and my beliefs. Yeah. That's something different than what people expect and are used to. But if anybody heard my story on how I even survived being attacked, then they would hear me, testify to my faith and how I feel about my God. Now, that would be, I think, like really communicating that, and people are like, well, what is it? And what, and really trying to communicate what it is. Now, once people get in their hands, I have gotten nothing. Orders are already coming in, and people are like, it's so organized. It takes you through step by step. This is really good. This is advanced. It's not just, the regular stuff, regular. That's right. So the feedback is really good. I'm feeling really good about it, but just learning the book publishing process and, I'm like teaching myself, watching YouTube videos. I have a degree in YouTubeology. Google, just finding the information and learning how to do it myself has definitely been a process. And it definitely costs more money than I thought it was going to.
It costs more money. Okay. I love it. Off topic, but not off topic. Would you ever think about turning your story into a movie, documentary?
So, that is the real book. That's the book I've been working on for 15 years. Anybody who talked to me is like, I'm so tired of hearing about you in this book. I have been writing my story, but it's so hard to write a personal story. So when God said, okay, you could pivot, do this project, I'm glad I did, so I could kind of learn how to do it on this project. But I'm still working on my personal story. My goal is Netflix.
I'm trying to nobody listens to me. I have wasted so much time on Tubi, Netflix. Like, I get really excited about these things because the trailers are amazing. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just wasted 90 minutes of my life on something one of my students could have written. Like, what is this?
Now, my personal story is popping. It's so many layers. So it's not just violence, but it's so much going on in my story that I'm probably not going to be able to include my breast cancer journey. So that might be volume 2, because that's a whole different saga.
Or maybe you could end with that. And then, like you said, maybe part 2, you end with that. And then now I'm ready to wait for the sequel. There's a million ways.
You also have, I moved here. I was in 2 Category 5 hurricanes. Like, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
They want to hear it.
Tyler Perry, where you at? Tyler. No. But I'm going to keep that in mind, because I have a couple people that want to talk to you and someone else that just I'm like, this is their life. I'm telling them about pitching stuff to people for other people. And they're like, wait, this really happened to them? I thought you made this stuff. No, this is their whole life. And they're like, have them call me. So I got you. But what was I about to say? Oh, it's funny that you went straight into faith, because that was what I wanted to focus on for the rest of the week, was this whole idea or necessity of faith over fear. I think fear keeps so many people from, I don't think you can keep yourself from anything that God has ordained for you or purpose for you. I don't believe that you can do it, but I think that fear can make you go on some paths that you don't need to go, or keep you places for longer than you need to be there. But at the end of the day, I feel like God, the universe, however you want to say it, is going to make sure you get to where you need to go by putting certain people and certain events into your pathway. So for you in your book, is it necessary, or does the person reading or purchasing that book have to have a specific faith or belief in order to get 100% out of the book?
No, definitely not. Because one thing, I'm not a pastor or a minister. This is just one girl's story. And so it's not stiff, it's not preachy, it's not any of that. You have some Bible verses. You even have some lyrics from Beyonce. So I just keeping it real, like real transparent. This is really what you need to do. There's even a section on how to support yourself. If you mentioned earlier, there are people that don't have family. How do you start to decide, okay, I want to form a community? I moved somewhere, I don't know anybody. How do I do that? So I had also included a section on that. So I really tried to touch various areas of people's life: finance, budgeting, goal setting, vision boards, strategically planning. So it's even some business concepts like a SWOT analysis. We want to look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that you have in your personal life. And what does that look like?
I love that. And I think, again, a lot of people get frustrated with the lack of support that you find sometimes with people that are in your inner circle. A lot of people that are closest to you, sometimes it's not people that are watching. It's not so much that they're not supporting you because they don't want to. It's sometimes they just don't know how to deal with this new version of you. And so a lot of people will fall back, or they just, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, it ends up looking like a lack of support. And some of the biggest helping hands that I've ever gotten, and I'm sure you can attest as well, have been from complete strangers who did not know me from a can of paint, but they knew what I was trying to do and they knew my story. So for just a word from you, from people who are not starting because they're saying they don't have the support, what advice would you give that person?
I would definitely say to just keep it pushing. You and God, you and your faith, you and whatever you hold on to that, because what is meant for you will come to you and it'll be attracted to you. But you have to take those first steps. The first steps are hard. Steps are hard. Depression is real. PTSD, like people are really going through some stuff.
For sure.
But you would be surprised there's been so many times where, I've been at my lowest and I'll get a phone call, I'll get an email, or I won't get nothing. I just might get, okay, I need to do this, let me start doing it. And it starts to work. And maybe it's work. I don't have anybody to celebrate with, but it's working. But at some point you will. Sometimes it's just, some of those old people aren't good for you and they just need to go aside. You might have a moment of solo and then you can get back into community.
I'm telling you.
It's a transition period. Everybody has gone through it at some point or another. I think that's the part that keeps people sometimes bound in that, is because they feel like it's just them. And if they understand it's not, everybody goes through this at one point or another.
Trees have to shed their leaves. Trees go through it every year. And if they don't, we wouldn't have what we have to breathe, oxygen. So I get it. I really do get this. And I'm taking notes as we're talking, because everything that you're saying, I'm seeing already in the young ladies that I work with. These babies are anywhere from 10 now, because I lowered it, to 17. And some of the issues that they're dealing with, PTSD, domestic violence, you have eighth graders who are in domestically abusive relationships already. It's insane out here. For those that don't know what educators go through, it's a lot that we see and witness every day. And I wanted to ask you, do you think that at your age as an adolescent that you would have appreciated this book more then, if someone gave it to you, than you do now? Or is it pretty much the same?
No, it would have helped me tremendously, because I didn't have a roadmap. I didn't have a guide. So it would have helped me to think, to process, because that's the part. Sometimes you just can't go through the steps because you're so overwhelmed. So having it broken down where it's like, okay, and then it's, space in the back to journal or take notes or to scream, let me write out how I feel. Maybe I need to draw something. But having that, like, it's okay. And the reminders in the book to give yourself grace, to give yourself compassion, would have been a long way for me as a child.
Compassion. Absolutely. And forgiveness, I think we leave that F word out a lot. We use the other F word. Forgiveness is major. I've learned to really embrace that. And I tell people, particularly people that have paternal issues, maternal issues. Oh, my mama didn't do my daddy. And I said, let's just step back and think about what your mom or what your dad had to work with. Were they teen moms and dads? They probably did the best that they could with what they had, and just try to look at it from their point of view. Or maybe they didn't have anything and they didn't know what to do, but you're here. So even if they birthed you and that's all they did positive in your life, you're here. So maybe their purpose was to have you so that you could do something for something else. And forgive them. Don't hold on to that. Whatever bitterness that is, just let it go. You don't have to deal with them. You don't have to be bound. That goes for children, parents, friends. But I do think it's important that we just forgive and keep it moving, because when you're holding on to that negativity and toxicity, Kaylin, that can be even worse than fear sometimes.
I agree. I think it's very important to forgive other people, but I think the person that is the last person that we forgive is ourselves.
Wow. And then we keep thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. So forgiving yourself, having compassion, grace, and then extending those things to others, giving other people grace, giving other people compassion, giving other people forgiveness. But don't forget ourselves. Don't forget yourself.
Don't forget yourself, because I've just said this to somebody else, I can't do anything with you if I'm dead. So I do have to take some self-preservation time. And like you said, to have some mercy. My body needs to rest too. I can't always. Leading me into the next question. Would you consider this to be a self-help book, or is it just a book that I wrote? How would you
I would definitely say that it is self-empowering, because you mentioned, it talks about self-care. It's a whole section on rest and different forms of rest, spiritual rest, mental rest, physical rest. So it's 174 pages. It's a lot of information, a lot of good stuff. Yes.
Wow, this is so exciting. And it's just one book. So it's got the scriptures and everything with, oh my God, dreams. Can you guys see that?
Don't ignore this. That's the proof copy that I got for that. That is the book. It's a good size. It's a good size. You could write in. It's going to definitely help a lot of people. People are already saying that it's helpful. So I'm excited.
I love that. Are you going to do like a book signing or a book release official event?
I have a book signing scheduled for April 19th here in St. Thomas. I really want to do a book signing in Detroit as well, but I haven't scheduled that yet. So doing some book signings. I did the launch on my birthday. So that was just March 19th. So I'm really excited about, really bringing this to the world. I did offer some free items on my website if people who sign up for the email.
Okay.
There was a scripture reflection journal for free, a downloadable journal. And then I also have a digital version of this book. So for the iPad tablet girlies, you can use that and fill it in digitally if you like to do that way. So we have physical copy, digital copy, plus a couple other digital products that I put on my website with, if you want additional templates or, companion items to take it further.
I love that. And it's accessible for everybody, for people don't have a lot of attention span. So I love that you have the digital version, you have the Audible. Mm-hmm. I love that. Let me ask you this. I see the cover, vibrant, eye-catching. Is this for everybody, or would you say it's more so for women? Or
I would definitely say it's more so for women, but I would not be mad if a man went through it, because it would be helpful. It's like the information, the tactics that are provided are not gender-based.
Okay.
But, when I wrote it, I was thinking from a woman's perspective.
We're thinking from a woman's perspective, because we've been having conversations about, I think women are, in general, not everybody, but in general, women are not afraid to do the work, whether it's getting out, being Googleina, as you called yourself, Googleisha. We will do the work. We're going to get what we need to run that household, or to to make ourselves our best selves. But I find that a lot of times the masculine, they don't. And what they do is they masquerade a lot of times, pretending that everything's okay. And then they go home and you find out that you are actually functionally depressed, sir. And what you're doing is you are taking it out on her, the wife, the girlfriend, the children, your coworkers. And I just don't see a lot of help for men that look like this. And I think that they need it because it's getting bad out here, Caitlin. I don't know how it is.
I definitely agree. I agree that our people need help. Our men need help. Our women need help.
Somebody, the boys that I work with are begging me. They're like, well, you're doing Go Girls and you're like, when are we going to have some, when are we going to get, and I'm like, I'm working on it. As I'm trying to get someone in here for you, but I'm like, I can't teach you how to be a man. I can't teach you, I can give you some suggestions, but I don't know how to do that. And so for you, I think, all right, let me give you a scenario. A scenario that we were discussing earlier this morning was that a lot of men, we're leaving color out of it, are starting to blame women for where they're not at in life. Like, you guys should have stayed in the kitchen cooking. You should have stopped trying to be the men of the house and we wouldn't be in this mess. Do you believe in gender roles, or do you think that that's just, again, another excuse for someone who's unhappy with themselves in reality?
Yeah, I personally think it's an excuse. I feel that there's a lot of things that I do. I work, I make money, I clean, I cook, I do all the things. I'm Superwoman, and I'm not really looking at like, well, I'm a woman or I'm married now. He'll cook, clean, do the laundry, he works, fixes the house, fixes the car, does the maintenance. I know how to change a tire. So, but I feel like if you're in a relationship that you work together, that you have a partnership, and it's not just, well, this person does this and this person does that. Although I do not take out the trash.
I don't like taking out the trash, but I do, for whatever reason, I love doing the dishes.
Okay.
Can't stand seeing dirty dishes. And I think about my mother. She would hate when we would get one glass, drink out of it, put in the sink, and get. She's like, why would you get another one when you have one? So I'm turning slowly into Shirley Ann Phillips II.
Yes.
I hate it.
I think it's beautiful.
But ain't no rings on my finger, beloved. What's the secret? What do we need to do? It's bad. And I know you've heard other women say it is bad in the United States. This show is broadcast worldwide. So you're in Dubai right now. You are in Bangladesh.
Okay.
You're
I would tell people to go on YouTube, look up my name, Kaylin Foy, and I did a storytelling event on how I came to St. Thomas on vacation and left St. Thomas in January, and March on my birthday of that same year. So less than 3 months. He mailed me an engagement ring. So that's a whole story that's also going to be in the book. But if you want to hear it, go to YouTube and look at it. Mailed it? Sure did.
I love it. I'm getting my woman by any means necessary. She is not getting away from. I love that. Now let me ask you this. It's off topic, but not off topic, because you are inspiring so many people. And I was told that once we're given a mic, you have a mic, I have a mic. A lot is expected of us, and you don't know whose life you could change just by one statement. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, when you met your husband, did you have an automatic, like, okay, was it automatic chemistry for you or him? Like, that's about to be my husband or that's about to be my wife? Or was it just kind of like?
He was all in initially. I was actually going on vacation because I was mourning my mother's passing. So my mind wasn't even there. But halfway through the trip, God showed me his spirit and his heart.
I love it. That's amazing. I am so proud of you and everything that you have done, all the lives, like you said, that you have touched.
Thank you.
Not even on purpose, some of this stuff. You were just being you and doing what God told you to do. And we're going to wrap up in a few minutes, but I wanted you quickly to talk about, because I will talk you under the table. You know that. I want you to talk about how important it is to take time to just listen and isolate yourself from the world and just listen to what God or the universe, however you want to word it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to you to take that time with nobody around, no kids, no pets, no nothing, to just listen?
It's on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 25.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have made it. And there's so many lives, so many segments, and so much in my life that if I didn't go before him, if I didn't take that time and be still, I don't know what choices I would have made and where I would have ended up, honestly.
Wow.
Because if I trusted myself, I wouldn't have ran a nonprofit for 15 years without a salary. Like, that was faith. That was definitely a faith walk. Not knowing that people would contact me and pay me honorariums and, to help them learn and how to improve their work. I didn't know that going in. Yeah. So the faith walk, me even developing this book, like I knew it was a good book and I wanted to put it out to the world, and I'm hoping that people accept it. But it definitely was a step of faith for me to invest even the money and the time that I invested on the front end.
And that's what someone else told me. Like, it can get expensive putting those books out because little things that you don't even think about sometimes pop up. But in this case, I think it's well worth it.
Yeah.
And I know whatever you put in, you're going to get back tenfold. I'm putting that out there for you. 100-fold, excuse me. You will get it back. What else do you have going on? I'm going to ask you to clarify where we can find you, but tell us anything else that you want us to know about what you have going on so that we can support you in any way possible. Besides this book.
In addition to being a grandma, I have 2 sons, grandsons, I mentioned that. But this project, like, really going to my website, KaylinFoy.com, buying the book. You can get the book through Amazon or Ingram Spark for physical, or you could download the digital copy, plus look at the other offerings that I have. But I also, I really want to do retreats, and I want to do virtual vision board parties and in-person things, and work with women's groups and functions and college students, and really walk them through some of these steps and through these processes. So that's something I want to do. I want to host a retreat in St. Thomas. And I want to do my book, but definitely follow me on social media as well. So go to my website, KaylinFoy.com, sign up for the mailing list. You'll get all that information. On social media, I'm Miss Kaylin, so MSKALYN. So you can follow me on any social media there too. So I'm just excited. I'm thankful for this opportunity to talk about some of the things that I'm doing. I'm still advocating and working in the domestic violence space. I'm looking at how can I do advocacy in regards to the intersection of domestic violence and breast cancer survivors, because I believe that there are women who are dying because of their situation. They aren't getting proper health care. So those are things that are like really interesting to me that I want to start doing more work around.
I didn't even think about that don't go to get help because either they can't or they're just afraid of, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that connection.
Yeah. But it's just because I went through it. So I'm going through chemo and I'm like, how could a person go through chemo? You're sick. You can't move. You can't do anything in a volatile household, in an abusive household. Like, how could you do it? You don't. You probably say, well, I'm not going to get it right now. I'll wait till I get myself together. And now you went through from stage 1 to stage 3.
Wow. So you said you're going through the traditional process of treatment.
Yeah, I finished. I had 2 surgeries, chemo, and radiation therapy.
Okay, awesome. Because I have a couple.
And I talk about some of that on my TikTok, so I'm on there too.
Listen, I'm old for real because I don't even have a TikTok, but I'm working on it. I have it, but I never use it. The kids use it for me, so I'm working on it.
I got all kind of videos posted up. So
I love it. That's so important. And you know what, too? We have to remember a lot of people, what they see online, that's the only exposure they get sometimes to outside is what they see on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
So many people have reached out to me, so many cancer survivors, like, well, what did you use? Or how did you keep your hair from falling out? So I was telling about the experimental cold cap that I did, like all kind of stuff. And they're like, that really, like, my doctor didn't tell me that. So
Oh, wow.
with the domestic violence, I'm going to do some lives on social media going through the book and, just going through the book with people. So if they aren't able to get a copy themselves, that they can still get some of the information.
They can get it. And I think is it available right now, or it was just
available right now at Kaylin Foy, KALYNFAHIE.com.
Because I think what we'll do is get a couple of copies, and then anybody that's unable and can give us just a valid reason of what's going on, we will give them some copies for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because this is so necessary, and I feel like everybody, male, female, lesbian, gay, straight, whatever, I think everybody feels their spirit going into like a different trajectory. And this is the time, I believe, for everybody, whatever you had that you wrote down and you never saw manifest, or what you've been threatening to manifest for a while, this is the time to write it down and start envisioning those dreams. So something like this would be very, very helpful.
I agree, because right now people might be concerned about the political landscape or what's going on in the world, and then you feel like you don't have a voice, or you're everything. The world is out of your control. And I think by writing down what is in your control and what you can do will help you to maintain hope for your future.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, and I don't want people who whatever they are, they may be atheists or they may not know what they believe. I think it's very important now to start doing that self-discovery, because it is very hard to exist out here when you think that you're all alone and you don't have anything or anyone supporting you. But I know for you, like you said, myself, lots of other friends that I have, sometimes it is just me and God in a room.
Yeah.
And talking to him like he's my friend, like he's one of my homeboys. Like, listen, look, what can we do? This isn't working out. This person isn't working out. This job isn't working out. And he listens. He doesn't judge. He listens. But I don't believe that God punishes. I think at the end, when we're all being judged, I think then we will be sent where we're supposed to go. But I don't think that God is like, oh, I'm going to give you cancer because you didn't do what.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. 3 things. I ask everybody this. This is so unrelated. As a woman of color, I didn't give you time to prepare for this on purpose.
That's all right. I'm ready for you.
If you were on a deserted island,
mm-hmm.
you can only take 3 things with you that are not edible. What would you take?
Can it be a person?
Nope.
Okay. And it's not a person. My iPad.
You ain't got no electricity, man. How you gonna use it?
Oh, well.
How you gonna charge it?
I guess a generator.
You know what? The iPad, the generator. You ain't got no Wi-Fi, beloved. You ain't got no internet.
And then maybe a boat so I can leave. When the generator run out, I can go.
I cannot. All right. Top 3 movies that every Black woman should see before they leave this earth.
Huh. Now you really got me on that one.
I give you Jeopardy. So somebody told me last time Color Purple.
My mind, I'm sorry, my mind completely went to black.
I know, I wanted you to be thrown off.
My mind went blank. Like I really don't want to traumatize people, but there are some movies that I really liked. Okay, these were good. I'm really leaning more towards at this point in my life. If it's not gonna make me laugh, if it's not something that's not, so I'm not really into right now the serious drama that's gonna teach you something, movies and entertainment that I'm consuming. I'm watching anime. I'm watching
cartoons.
I'm comedy. I'm like just in a different space right now because it's heavy. So I have to give myself grace to just the entertainment is gonna be light.
It's light. I would definitely say The Color Purple. That's for every human.
Yeah,
needs The Color Purple because there were so many layers.
The Color Purple, Beloved. I like Beloved. I know it was people were really confused about it. But I like the book. I think maybe you had to read the book first.
Read the book.
So that was a heavy book that had a lot going on, so
it was.
Yeah.
It was. And I watched a couple days ago, maybe a few days after my birthday, had nothing to do. I think there might have been one Black person in the movie. I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And had the time of my life because I'm like, poor Charlie. Oh my God. They were eating cabbage soup all day, every day. I think in the book they were eating potato soup. He was responsible for his family. He was out. Listen, I'm such a nerd, but I'm like, wow, this was really a good story. And I called other people and they're like, are you okay? Like, you okay? You watching Charlie Jack? That movie, I think everybody needs to see because there's levels to it. And as you get older, you can see, okay, I see what you did there. But I know it's 3:00 here. Anything else that you want to ask me, or is there any way that we can help you that I have not mentioned already?
No, basically, I just really want people to go get the book, use the book, let it help them and support them. Follow me, sign up for my email. So as I announce new endeavors and initiatives that people can connect and be a part of.
Okay.
Look at my social media, all the good things.
Well, tell them your Instagram too.
Instagram is Miss Kaylin, MSKALYN.
Okay, we're gonna post that up after.
And that's also TikTok.
Can't forget about the TikTok.
That's right.
You gotta do the TikTok. All right. And I am going to make sure that we have some copies around here circulating, and I will take some back to my students. I'm actually going to you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to order them and I'm going to videotape them using the books.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Because they're begging for it. And I actually feel bad because there's certain topics that students have shared with me that I'm not at liberty to talk about on camera, but these are not normal 10, 11-year-olds. Yeah. They're like the things that they're dealing with. It's heavy. So I'm looking forward to doing this for you. We are Millennium News 24, and you can catch us on Amazon TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, Roku TV. You can catch us on Horizon Satellite. I got to throw all this stuff. Sony, Smart, Android. Listen, there's no excuse for you not to watch the show and share it. Even if you don't have cable, you can still watch the show. If you don't have cable, let me know and I will hook you up. But thank you so much, Kaylin, for taking this time. And I think we are done because these lights
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. So good.
And I'll make sure to send you the footage. No problem. Have a good rest of your weekend, my dear.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye, baby. Excuse me. Let me see.